Now that's...
And you had breast cancer yourself, so that help you
Oh, yeah.
heal?
What, writing the piece?
Yes. Or how have you dealt with your breast cancer? I mean, is it in remission, or is it...
How have I dealt?
No. I mean, can you talk about that experience at all? It's late. It's like 11:30. I'm sorry. I'm talking because all this stuff comes out. It's like, whoa.
Breast cancer was perhaps one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Are you still rolling? Yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk about this?
Sure.
Okay. We should talk about this for a minute. Definitely.
Breast cancer was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Now, what do I mean by that?
Yeah.
I mean that it put everything into focus. This was a tremendous opportunity for me to really figure out what's really important in this life. And I was sort of stagnant at the time that it came. I wasn't following what I should be doing. I was stuck. And the joy had gone out of life, you know. And the breast cancer happened, and it was a great opportunity every day I would breathe, do deep breathing. I started reading things. I started to understand the way in which my mind creates reality. I began to, and this is a very tricky thing. I just want to say this. There is a way in which I had an environment within myself that helped cancer to happen. I want to acknowledge that. And that doesn't mean that I gave myself breast cancer. It's a distinction. But there was an environment in me which allowed it to happen. And having it brought me to a point of having to change that environment inside myself in such a way that that wouldn't happen again.
Tell me about this environment, like bad energy or something that society had placed on you?
Well, first of all, let's acknowledge there are poisons everywhere. I just want to say that. I want to say that I think we've all got cancer. It's just a question of at what rate and how it's manifesting itself or not. We are systematically poisoned every day in everything that we eat, everything that we drink, everything that we breathe, everything that we wear. And that's what no one is saying. We are in the midst of a plague, and no one is calling it by its proper name. And that's why these breast cancer activists now are finally getting it. And they are adopting some of the tactics and the strategies of the AIDS activists. We're finally understanding something is happening here. We have gone from 1 in 20 women in 1960 to 1 in 8 women today are going to get it. And at this rate, by the year 2010, 1 in 4 women are going to have it. But it's okay, you see, if we could just find the gene. But no one's talking about what's making the genes transform themselves into cancer genes. Something's happening to make that happen. And meanwhile, the people who are setting up breast cancer month so we could all go and get our mammograms are the same people who provide the poisons for us to get the breast cancer that then they can take the picture of, and then they can give us some more poisons to cure it. You see, I got all of that straight through the breast cancer. There is a whole healthcare industry, and it's about making money and doing business. And they are all connected. Sloan Kettering's board of directors, and the American Cancer Association, and the chemical company that makes tamoxifen and then throws toxic waste into Africa. They are all connected. So, one of the ways I've dealt with my breast cancer is, first of all, to understand the ways in which I had an environment of fear inside of me. I was always afraid something bad was going to happen. And then it did. So I had to figure out, how can I believe in life and believe that life is going to be good to me and it's going to be good for me, that I don't have to be afraid that something bad's going to happen. So that was the spiritual leap that I had to make. And it's been through my whole life. I just wasn't doing the work well enough. And so the cancer thing came up. Now, it so happens my mother had died from it also. But I was already a hypochondriac before my mother got cancer.
How have you healed from this?
I've gotten over the terror of dying. I've come to terms with dying. That's what we're all running about. That's what we're all scared of, really. And it's not complete. If I've got a little symptom, I say, oh, this is it. I get that little, everything starts, and I gotta have to talk inside my head to pull myself back again. But basically, I have come to terms with the fact that I am going to die. And guess what? We all are. And guess what? It's only a matter of time. And it's not an accident. It's not a mistake. It's not a problem. It's our destiny. It's our home. That's the place we've always been going toward.
When did we unlearn it?
I have to think about that. That's our home. So the idea is, what are you making out of your life in the context of what your ultimate destiny is? And that's why I say this was a tremendous gift, because it got me past the terror. And I understood what healing is. Healing is not cure. Good, you asked the question, how did you heal? What I got to understand is healing is not the same thing as being cured. And I got this through, Stephen Levine is a very interesting writer. He's Buddhist and all that. So I just want to give him credit for helping me. It's like the black women poets got me to understand what poetry is. Stephen Levine got me to understand the difference between healing and cure. Because you got these Bernie Siegel people and and all these New Age folks, and it's like, if you eat the right food and you do the right thing and you got the right mental attitude, you're going to be healthy, you're going to be great, as if you're never going to die. No, that's not. You are going to die. You can count on it. What Stephen Levine got me clear on was you can heal yourself. And sometimes when people, and that means coming into wholeness. The roots of the word healing, health, healing, wholeness, and holy all have the same root word in English. They're all derived from the same, root. Okay. That sometimes people heal themselves, meaning they come into greater wholeness, and they live. They get better. Sometimes people heal themselves. They come into greater wholeness and completion, and they die because they're done. That healing, in fact, has been happening since the day we were born. Since the day we were born, we've been on a journey of healing, coming into greater wholeness, coming into greater fullness of who we really are.
So we can die.
That's right. And in fact,
move on.
That's right. And in fact, it's that journey. And when you're around people who are dying, who are really engaged in the dying process, you see something holy. There's the opportunity for some tremendous holiness and for some tremendous insight into what life is really about. And they are coming into their fullness. Sometimes, not every time.
Yeah.
It's a mystery. But I've seen it happen. And I would hope that that could happen for me. So how do I heal myself? I'm healing myself all the time. And now I know it. I didn't know it before I had breast cancer. And now I know it. And now I'm not terrorizing myself all the time by being afraid of dying or being afraid of something bad happening, which ultimately means that I'm going to die.
You're more conscious.
I'm more conscious and I'm less scared. And that makes me a little bit bolder to live my life with a bit more boldness. Or at least, maybe I was always bold, but I was always bold and scared. And now I can be bold and joyous.
Well, thank you
Okay.
so much for sharing your work and your boldness and your brightness and your life.